Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wanted to use Rhyperior instead of using Rhydon? There's not much benefit to it defensively, but offensively it can do some pretty good stuff. Looking at Rhyperior, I've been asked to make a little Rhyperior Assault Vest team from a viewer here, so big thanks to the idea. Looking at it, you can see that we've got ourselves a pretty classic Rhyperior set, high horsepower, rock slide, crunch, but we are opting to go for Lightning Rod over the usually used Solid Rock or Reckless. Right? The reason why we're going for Lightning Rod is that we want to pair this Rhyperior with Kyogre. And Kyogre, believe it or not, isn't a massive fan of electric type moves. So by having Rhyperior on the field with Kyogre, it then stops things like Rhydon or Raging Bolt going for really strong Thunderbolts or Electro Drifts. Backing up Kyogre, we've got Iron Jugulus, just working out well with the rain. We've got Hurricane and Snarl and Rain Dance ourselves. And for some support, generally, we have Indeedee to get some terrain on our side and Trick Room, as well as Sinister for another Trick Room, Hospitality kind of support set. And finishing off, we've got Incineroar because it's Incineroar. No team's really complete without him. Alright. They've got a Rain team. This is intriguing because they have an Arcaladon who loves to click Electro Shot. If we play this right, we might be able to have Rhyperior absorb the Electro Shot for our Kyogre. Or maybe a Iron Jugulus. We're going to try our best to bait that out. So we're going to go with an Iron Jugulus and Kyogre just on the lead. We'll get Rhyperior in. And then, given they have a Zacian, I'll go for an Incineroar in the back as well. Just try to get some Intimidates on that guy. Iron Jugulus comes in, Kyogre comes in, and our Caladon does come in, and Tornadus. There is no reason for them not to click it here, right? Not to click the toe shot. So I reckon I go for Rhyperior for Jugulus, and then I go for a Water Spout. It's not going to do much to our Caladon, but it'll do a lot. Our Caladon goes Terra Electric, Tailwind triggers, they go for Electro Shot, and we absorb it with Rhyperior's Lightning Rod. Incredible! Water Spout comes out, and it does take both of them out as our Caladon tear it out of his water type resistance. Rhyperior! Incredible stuff! Zacian comes in, their Kyogre comes in. Look, we've done our bit, right? We can just go for Terra Water. You know what, honestly though, no, we bring in Incineroar. Oh, we don't want to bring in Incineroar here. I'd say we could bring in Incineroar and then try to reduce Zacian's attack. But Kyogre's definitely just going for an Origin Pulse, so I don't really want to do that. What I might do is I'll go Terra Water myself, and I'll go for a high horsepower into Zacian. Because Zacian doesn't like a high horsepower, and we need to get some damage on Kyogre, so I'll go for an Origin Pulse. I'm a slow Kyogre, so I'm not going to be able to do much before their Kyogre. They go for Play Rough. Our Kyogre gets eaten alive, absolutely decimated, but our Kyogre lives. Our Rhyperior lives. High horsepower takes out Zacian. Rhyperior, you're incredible. We can bring in Incineroar. We can go for an immediate fake out into their Kyogre. And what do we want to do on our end with our Rhyperior? I think we just want to go for a high horsepower. I think that's our best bet. High horsepower comes in, and we can just fake them out. Fake out goes, 12%, not too bad. They flinch, no Water Spout for you. High horsepower comes in again. And I feel like this is it, kind of just it for them. We can go for a high horsepower. It did 56 last time, it should take them out this time. And I mean, we can just go for a parting shot just to reduce that damage output. Or, they just see that they can't get out of the situation and they forfeit. Oh, Rhyperior, you're pretty solid. Rhydon and Groudon. We got this. I'm gonna go with Iron Jugulus and Kyogre. Gonna have Rhyperior in the back. And I'm gonna go... Oh, do I want to go with Iron Jugulus and Kyogre? I'm not sure. They most likely lead Whimsicott here. And they probably put it next to Rhydon, looking at this squad. So if that's the case, I should be going with Rhyperior and Kyogre to lead. If they go with Rhydon and Whimsicott. I need to have Indeedee so I can turn off the terrain, otherwise the Iron Hands will do too much work. And they have a lot of physical attackers, so I think having Incineroar is going to be our best bet. Gotta get some Intimidates going. I would like Iron Jugulus here. Do I set up Rain Dance again? But everything goes out the window with this type of lead. Ah. I mean, fake out Tailwind. I can just bring in DD instead of Rhyperior. Stops any Prankster moves from going. And I can. I mean, from then I should be safe to go for an Origin Pulse, right? Will Moonblast do a lot to me? I mean, maybe? Maybe? Origin Pulse is probably just a safer play. So we'll do that. Indeedee comes in. Psychic Surge activates. Fake Out gets blocked. Tailwind goes. And Origin Pulse does good damage. Good damage with Origin Pulse. They're now going to be faster than me for a while. So I can probably go for a Trick Room here. They go with Rhydon. Let's get a Trick Room. And... oh no, we don't want a Trick Room. We need to get Rhyperior in here. And to be able to prevent their electric moves. And honestly, going for an Origin Pulse here still isn't the worst thing in the world. Water Spout is good. Origin Pulse is significantly less good. We're going to go Water Spout. We're going to trust that they go for an electric move. They Terra Electric, Discharge, Lightning Rod absorbs it, and it doesn't stop Kyogre from getting hit. Okay. Okay. Urshifu Rapid Strike comes in, Indeedee can come in. That really sucks. Terra Water prevents Urshifu from taking out Rhyperior. High Horsepower should do good damage to Discharge, and then Trick Room is pretty much anything we got left. They probably switch out Rhydon here. Whoever comes in doesn't really want to eat a High Horsepower anyway. Maybe they do. If it's Rhyperior, they do. I don't think they keep Rhydon here because they just want to spam Discharge. So I'll go with a Rock Slide. Yeah, Terra Water, Rock Slide, and then I'll go for a Trick Room as well. Okay, they can just keep in Rhydon. That also works. Did not expect that. Urshifu goes for Surging Strikes, but we are going to live it quite well with our Rhyperior being Terra Water. Hopefully, Rock Slide hits both. Nice, we get rid of the Urshifu. And indeed, he gets the Trick Room up. Alright, this is really good. Rhydon cannot hurt us. And it's stuck as an electric type move. So I can just Helping Hand and go for the High Horsepower. I think that just takes out Rhydon. There we go. Look, not the intended way to use the team, but it still worked, which I'm surprised about and happy about. We've got ourselves Rain and a Rhydon, which isn't bad for me. It's not bad at all. They have a big reliance here on their electric terrain with having Iron Hands. So what I will do is I'll bring in DD in the back. This is an ideal setup to get Rhyperior and Kyogre to start the match with. Assuming they lead Pelipper and Rhydon. If they don't lead that, we're in a bit of strife. There's not much else we can really do. We're getting DD in the back to be able to turn off their terrain, and we're getting Cinnamoroy in to try to get some Will-O-Wisps onto that Calyrex. Rhyperior and Kyogre comes in, Rhydon comes in, and Calyrex comes in. Right. I think we just have to Terra Water in front of that Calyrex. So we just don't go down to an immediate Glacial Lance. In terms of what I want to do back to the Calyrex, I'm not sure. I mean, High Horsepower is okay. I might just go for a High Horsepower into Rhydon, so I can do some strong damage to it. I mean, an Origin Pulse isn't the worst, just generally, so we can do that. They go Terra Water, we go Terra Water, they go Snarl. Why are they all going Snarl? Origin Pulse is now going to do nothing, and they've probably gone for a Trick Room here. We do take out their Rhydon with a crit High Horsepower though. And little do they know, we're going to underspeed them in Trick Room, which is not a bad thing at all. They have gone Water, which we don't have much coverage into, besides maybe High Horsepower. It would be nice if they didn't weigh as much, but they weigh a ton, that Ice Horse. So we can go... oh, maybe we try to bait some flinches. I reckon we go for a Rock Slide, because that does some decent damage to both of them. And... I mean, switching into Cinnamoroy here kind of covers a fair chunk, right? Potentially lowers the attack stat of the horse. No, it doesn't. Rock Slide comes out though. Any flinches? Any flinches? Flinches the horse? And then Hurricane hits the Incineroar. Doesn't do too much. Awesome. I mean, I think we're kind of safe just to do that again. I believe. How much damage did you do last time? You did 21% onto the horse. So I can either knock off or I can go for a fake out onto it. Looking at its moveset, it definitely has protect. So I might just go for Will-O-Wisp, so I just cripple it. Rock Slide comes out, it hits the Pelipper and misses the Calyrex Ice Rider. High Horsepower comes out. Fake out would have been good. Fake out would have been nice, turns out. We can... Look, they got one dude left in the back. We can bring it in DD. We can try to sort out a few more of those Trick Room turns. We get rid of the electric terrain, so now their Iron Hands doesn't get any Quark Drive activating. Am I scared from the Glacial Lance? I mean, I am. But I feel like just doing some high horsepowers into the bear, as they've called it, is decent to do. As well as the Psychic can just take it out. So I might just do that. Let's just do that. Let's just take it out. High horsepower comes in, 24%. Low kick does a fair chunk to Rhyperior. Glacial Lance comes out. Doesn't take out either of my guys, fortunately. And Psychic will take out the Iron Hands. Awesome. We're both going to be going down to a Glacial Lance after this. So it's definitely a helping hand on MDD. In terms of what I want to do, I think it's just high horsepower. And then helping hand. Just to see what happens. Potentially it does enough to take it out. They protect. They stall out their own Trick Room. Which makes sense. Because now they outspeed Rhyperior. I mean, I'll go with high horsepower. And I'll go with a Psychic. But at least I'm going to outspeed and do some damage. We can do that. Psychic does 22%. Not bad at all. Glacial Lance takes out the rest of my guys. But fortunately, while they are buffed up a fair bit, we do have Kyogre in the back. Who sets the rain up, and they're water type, so this Thunder is guaranteed to hit. So I don't think they have much play around this. They're going to try to protect stall, potentially, but I just got to keep spamming Thunder. But there's nothing they can do. Besides, wait. Yeah, there we go. Thunder takes it out. Rhyperior doing some good work there. Well done, Rhyperior. Good stuff. Got ourselves a Sun team with a Calyrex. In this case, not the most ideal situation for me. I'm going to go with Iron Jugulis and Kyogre. My biggest concern is going to be that Brute Bonnet putting everyone to sleep. So what I might do is go with Iron Jugulis. We get a speed advantage so we can go before the Calyrex. I might go Incineroar as well to get some attack drops. I'll bring Kyogre in the back. If they set up the Sun with Rhydon, I can then switch in Kyogre for Incineroar. And then because he's the GOAT, we're going to be bringing Rhyperior. Iron Jugulis comes in, Incineroar comes in, Ult comes in, and Brute Bonnet comes in. Right. Okay. Not an ideal situation. Raging Bolt can do significant damage to my Iron Jugulis, who I feel like is going to be really, potentially the most important one in this game. So I'm considering going for the Terra. Brute Bonnet doesn't do much. I might risk it and go for just a naked Hurricane into Brute Bonnet. It won't take it out, but at least it will do solid damage to it. So let's do that, and I can then fake out the Raging Bolt slot. They switch it into Landorus. We fake out the Raging Bolt. Landorus, it does miss the Landorus, and the Raging Bolt clinches. Okay, I think they want to go for a Sandsear Storm here. Luckily we're a flying type, so I'll go for a Snarl. I can't afford to go Terra Steel because Sandsear will just decimate us. Raging Bolt, it's gonna hurt, but I just can't afford not to. So I might just go with a Parting Shot and bring in Rhyperior. Maybe? I don't have any way to get Trick Room up. That was a bit of an oversight. Oopsie daisy. No, we're going to knock off the Landorus, get rid of that Sheer Force. Thunderclap does come out. Snarl goes first, reduces both their special attacks. Sandsear comes out, misses Jugulis, and, well, immune. Jugulis is immune, misses Incineroar. Gets rid of Life Orb and Lando. And this is a really nice situation. We're gonna get... They want to go for another Thunderclap. So what I might do is go for a Rain Dance. And then knock off the Raging Bolt. Ideally they bring in a Rhydon here. That'd be awesome. And looking at the squad they got, I think they can't afford not to. We do live the Earth Power, and Incineroar does quite well. They don't end up going for a Thunderclap. That's a big shame. And we end up getting taken out by a Volt Switch. Damn. We could have gone for some more damage, but oh well. Knock off on the Brute Bonnet, gets rid of the Covert Cloak, which is very nice. And I mean, in this situation, I feel that just going for Kyogre is the best bet we got. Terra Grass means we can't get Spored. Water Spout will do strong damage. Even with Elandris hitting us with a Sandsear, we still... I mean, I think we still do decent damage with that anyway. I'll have to. If they go for a Sludge Bomb, that's going to suck, but there's not much we can do around it. And we'll go for a Fighting Shot into Brute Bonnet. They bring in the Raging Bolts. We go for the Terra Grass. They go for Terra Water. Water Spout comes out. Decent damage overall. Fighting Shot comes in. And we can bring in our Rhyperior. This actually worked out to be much nicer. Seed Bomb comes in, we resist it. They don't go for a Spore. So now Raging Bolt can't get away with using any electric moves. Nor would they because we've gone Terra Grass. Since they want to go for likely a Thunderclap. Oh, but we prevent them from going from a Thunderclap. But they will probably outspeed us naturally anyway. Origin Pulse is just a safer play to do. And then High Horsepower into that slot is good. Dragon Pulse comes out. Origin Pulse connects. Gets rid of the Brute Bonnet. Crits the Raging Bolts. And then High Horsepower, assuming it doesn't miss. There we go. High Horsepower does take out that Raging Bolts. Landorus comes in and Calyrex comes in. So they didn't bring Rhydon this game. Interesting. They definitely outspeed us here. And they do enough damage to hurt. The question... I feel that the Landorus will still do enough with Earth Power to take us out. And Astral Barrage is just not going to be the best anyway. I don't think we eat one on our Calyrex. So what I will do is go for an Origin Pulse and hope, and follow it with a Rock Slide in case I don't die. They go for Astral Barrage. Kyogre lives and Rhyperior both live. They go for a Sandsteer. Kyogre lives with 1 HP. And the Origin Pulse comes out. It misses the Calyrex. Well, that's just the end of the game then. Incineroar comes in. Protect. Potentially a knockoff can do enough to hurt it. But I'm not confident. Oh, Kyogre, why'd you have to miss? Why'd you have to miss, Kyogre? You're going so well. Oh. This is the question, is if we're able to... They protect themselves, we protect... So now we're just kind of done. We don't have protect for the next time. Maybe we go for a second protect and a knockoff. We get the second protect. Astral Barrage comes out. Does Incineroar live? It does live. Knockoff comes in, brings it down to its sash. It lived quite well, our Incineroar. So we can go for a Water Spout and we can go for a knockoff. But don't think they kill us with an Astral Barrage. They do not. While they do take out Kyogre, Incineroar's knockoff will finish the game. Woo-wee! That was a scary one. That was close.